There we go. We don't need that. We need this. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome y'all to the first episode of the E.P.I.C podcast. And Ike is starting off with no camera. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I told y'all what was coming. I told y'all what was coming. Nobody wanted to believe me. Here we go.
You're not believable.
For the record, this is how we started off our old podcast. The IV is still being Black Panther. I told. Here we go. Here we go. Let's kick this off. Everybody introduce yourself. I'm Vernon, the moderator. As y'all know, I don't know. Y'all can see to my immediate left. We have the Black Panther, beautifully black.
That's all that needs to be said.
And then we got my main man Justin in the house, and then we got Jared in the lower left.
What up? What up?
So what we gonna be doing on here, man? We just gonna be talking about mainly what's going on in the sports world, current events, things we deem important, things we want to talk about, discuss, get off our chests, and express our viewpoints and our opinions on them. So, yeah, man, we're gonna kick it off like this. What? Let's just jump into it, man. We ain't gonna waste no time. What do y'all think the biggest disappointments and surprises in the NFL are so far? Start with you, Ike.
Man, biggest disappointment, Aaron Rodgers.
So you think he's a disappointment?
Yes, I absolutely think he's a disappointment. They've got a losing record. He has not played well at all, and he's supposed to be one of the greats, right? So, I mean, there's been so many other quarterbacks who have lost a piece and still are successful in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
He's doing not a thing. See, and notice I didn't say Green Bay. I'm specific to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is supposed to keep that ship going, and they are sinking.
Okay. What you think about that, Justin?
Hey, look, I agree. People throw that word "great" out there quite a bit, but then situations like this, like I said, it's not all on him. But at the same time, like my man Ike said, I was expecting him to continue to carry it. You know what I mean? Minnesota's looking good. Chicago's looking better than them. I mean, we can go down to a long list of teams that are looking better than Green Bay at this point. So I'm in agreement with my man Ike on that.
And you, Jared, what you think, man?
I mean, you can always go Green Bay, but I'm gonna go Las Vegas Raiders. You bring in Devontae Adams, you got Derek Carr, you got Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. You got to be better than 2-5, 2-6 is what they are so far this season. You got to be better than that. So I'm gonna go Las Vegas Raiders. I definitely felt like they will be doing better so far. Nah.
Well, can I say this then? Since you bring that up, I agree, Las Vegas, and I was just agreeing with what Ike said. Although I don't think that that's my biggest disappointment. I just agree with what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I understand where my man Jared coming from too on that, because Las Vegas, a lot of offensive firepower, and man, I think if I ain't mistaken, this past week they didn't score at all, did they?
Nah, fam. I have
like
quarterback.
Yeah, nothing.
And
you bring in one of the top offensive minds in football from New England.
Yeah,
or so they say.
Can't sleep on the coach. Yep.
Can we say he's failed before? So maybe his spot is really just as an OC.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
That's very true. Very
true.
Yeah.
So my disappointment, of course, I got to go with my Colts. I just feel like in a division where it's just like it's not really a powerhouse in that division, and we used to run in this division every year for like ever since Andrew Luck has been gone. It's been open every year, and to the point now that it's like I feel like are the best team in this division, and we just don't show up, man. We're just not showing up. We're not showing up defensively, even though we've had a bunch of injuries. But I don't like blaming injuries because they're professionals. Next man up. I believe in that. So I don't like excuses. You put a product on the field, they're supposed to deliver, especially when you got the Texans just playing horrible, the Titans not playing how they played last year, and Jacksonville's always been a roller coaster.
It's like with the Colts, it's like, man, some of the losses are just terrible. Like 24-0 to Jacksonville. It's like you can take wins and losses, but it's just it be how the Colts lose is what does it sometimes. It's like you look at the game. Me and my brother was watching the game the other day. You look at the record. They're 3-4-1. You would think it feels like they're 2-6 or 2-5 or
1-5 or something like it really feels that way, bro.
The games that the Colts choose to do bad in are just really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of what makes it feel even worse than what it actually is.
Yeah.
The Jags smoked the Colts boots every
So it's like they blew us out the first time and then we win the second one. You know what I mean? Like it's just that should be a sweep every year, bro.
When you need to win it to get into the playoffs.
The only thing really to split with is the Titans.
It's really a division that has 4 gimme wins every year. 90% of the league is beating the Texans twice and the Jags twice.
So to me, just because the Colts are my team, I just feel like that's my biggest disappointment. But I can't knock the Aaron Rodgers, and my only comment on that is that again, I don't like using injuries as an excuse, but the offensive line ain't been the same. And young receivers are young receivers, but again, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you got to deliver.
Man, you don't need no help. Then be the man. Don't need no help.
Hey, look, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly. So, yeah, and the Raiders. I want to get back to them. I definitely want to get back to these Raiders. Go ahead.
I would say the Raiders being at the bottom of that division is disappointing. Like
correct.
Outside of
the whole division.
Outside of the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have done what they're expected, but they were set up to be like the best division in football. At least
because the Chargers have a terrible loss to Jacksonville as well that people don't talk about. I didn't hear nothing about it, but it was like 35-14 or something crazy like that.
It was bad.
I expect the Chargers to do damage. That's who I had picked to win that division, but
a lot of people did because y'all got a lot of hope in Justin Herbert.
Right.
For whatever y'all's reason for having that hope, y'all got a lot of hope in Justin Herbert.
The boy can play.
It's not a matter of he can play, right?
He's good.
What has he done? But what has he done?
I mean, this is only his 3rd year in the league.
Okay.
I'll say this: Lamar was an MVP by then. Mahomes was a champion by then.
Lamar Jackson.
Hold on.
That's a standard. That's not going. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is an incredible football player.
Well, I'm just saying. I just named a list of guys who their accomplishments are far superior than what he's done. I mean, he hadn't even been to the playoffs. Yeah. Okay. Joe Burrow. They went to the Super Bowl, right?
That was just last year, though.
And what year of his? In what year?
That's his second full season, but I think you're a little too stiff on Herbert. Herbert's good. If you look at his stats,
he is good.
The first 16 games of his career, first 32 games of his career, so forth and so on. He lines up with the greats, and I mean that's something that can't be ignored. That you have to acknowledge that kind of stuff.
So like for me, this is me personally. I don't care about that because at the end of the day, they all play to win that Super Bowl, right? That's why you come to play. I need you to get me to the playoffs at the very least. You can't tell me he hadn't had the talent to get to the playoffs.
And they've been in position a couple of times.
I'm about to say, if I may.
I mean, those are all good points. But like we talked about the other day, it's easier said than done to just go into the playoffs and just winning Super Bowls. Like, you have to kind of, at some point, sit back, look at the numbers, look at the production, and then add that into the equation as far as, how you're going to rank these players. That's just my personal opinion. But I definitely know what you're saying, though, but that's just how I kind of look at things.
I think it's more, as far as Justin Herbert is involved, I think it's more of how he got into the league, like how he started. He wasn't deemed a starter in LA, like for the Chargers.
Right.
If Taylor doesn't get hurt or stabbed by the medical staff,
that was crazy.
He didn't get shanked up in the back row before that game.
I was watching that game live.
He wasn't, bruh. He didn't. he didn't practice as the starters. He wasn't practicing with the ones. Like, he was a clear number 2 rookie. And it was like 30 minutes before game time. I was like, hey, look, you're playing. And he went out there and damn near beat the Chiefs. He lost by 3. And then from then on, he was rolling.
The boy is cold.
I just think they look at as kind of like what everybody was saying. I think they look at the talent and what's there, like to jump into a situation where you weren't really expected to be starting in, probably that year, maybe later on, depending on how the record was. But to jump in there and do what he did his first year, continue success in the second year, I feel like this year should have been his year. They are truly underperforming. But again, when you're in there with the Chiefs and the Broncos, like that division is tough. They're not playing tough.
Nobody else in that division.
I'm just saying. But the division is tough. They're all got tough defenses. They're just not playing well right now. But just the AFC in general.
It's supposed to be hands down the best division in football.
Yeah, but when we talk about accomplishments and then you're talking about playoffs, you got to think about it. You got the Chiefs ahead of them all the time. You got Buffalo. You got all these elite AFC teams. You got your Patriots, and you got all these teams in the AFC. They're like, dude, if they don't dominate their division or at least sweep outside the division, it's hard to make it in the AFC. The AFC has always been that way. Now, the NFC has been a toss-up. Outside of Green Bay and probably Tampa Bay and whoever else you want to mix in there towards about San Fran, they've been consistent. Outside of those three, the other three the other 3 teams has really been a toss-up in the NFC. But in the AFC, it's always been tough, man. With your Steelers and your Ravens and, like I said, the Bills, the Chiefs, like they're always bumping heads. So like, if you don't win that division, chances are, bro, you out. So I think Justin Herbert is just tough to break through, and all those other young studs in the AFC. Your Josh Allens and your Mahomes and all these young guys in the AFC too. Just your Russells and your Deshaun Watsons, like all these dudes. Like, it's just tough. It's really tough. So.
And I guess even this, I want to ask this question then. So, just thinking about what you just said. At what point or how are you looking at Herbert? Because to me, like, first, my comparison is going to come within your division. And until he beats the Chiefs, to me, you can't be considered as one of the top dogs. I mean, you can't even beat the Chiefs. And let's just be real. Offensively, you can't say he ain't got better weapons. He got better weapons than what Mahomes has.
No. This year?
Yeah.
No.
Keenan Allen.
Really?
Keenan Allen hasn't played. He's played 1 game. Limited.
Right. And they lose by 3 to the Chiefs without Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett.
All of those guys are injury prone.
No. I'm not saying they're not injury prone, but I'm saying if going into the season, you could not look at me and tell me that they didn't have offensively. They have one of the better offensive lines as well.
Oh, are you saying this year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay, yeah. No, I do agree with that.
Not even this year. So you put
without the Chiefs without Tyreek, nobody expected any of those, and the other receivers still really aren't doing anything.
They're not doing anything.
Right, but I'm just saying. If we're just talking about talent and potential, if we're looking at Hartman, you're looking at
terrible
Juju. We're just talking about a collection of talent.
Yeah,
we're talking about Hartman, Juju, Scantling. Kelsey, he holds so much weight by himself. With Hilaire, Patrick Mahomes, so much weight by himself. Like, a lot of these guys, like, I don't know, man. And they just got Tony.
Mahomes and Kelsey. That's it.
I'm with Justin on the offense. This year.
But even with, okay, but the production.
Even good is just up high. Like, it just only got 3 or 4 guys in every category. Like,
but who's on the Chargers or who's on the Chargers elite? On their offense, who's elite? That's top 5 in their position.
When Keenan Allen was actually playing, he was.
Yep, Keenan Allen.
And so was Austin Eckler.
Top 5 might be a stretch.
Right.
Keenan Allen.
For receivers?
No. I don't know
about catches and yards.
No, we ain't talking about stats. We're talking about who you consider a top 5 receiver.
Oh, so we're just going off the eye test.
Well,
Yes.
then
I know what you consider a top
neither
5.
team has a top 5 receiver though. So why are we doing top 5 receiver?
But I'm just Kelsey to me is a top 5 receiver.
I'm assuming Kelsey because he's a tight end.
But he's considered a receiver.
But when you say receiver, Kelsey didn't come to mind to me.
Yeah.
So.
No, because he's not a receiver. He's a tight end.
No.
Yeah.
So that's like saying
Debo's
not a receiver. Okay, but I'm just saying like.
Yeah,
but he plays receiver.
His stats is the same. So if he
that don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What I
classified as a receiver. His paycheck, I bet you don't say
is a tight end. No, his paycheck is a tight end.
He get paid the same, pretty much.
No.
I'm just okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put it like this then. Mahomes and Kelsey are elite. I don't feel like the Chargers have anybody on their offense that measures up to those two.
So you are saying Herbert's not elite then, right?
I'm not saying he wasn't top 5 when we spoke of that.
Is he elite or not?
He's not. He's good, but he's not elite.
Okay.
And he's gonna get paid elite money, but I don't think he's elite.
They've got a report card. They've got 2 A's and a bunch of C's.
They got 2 A+. They got 2 people who's the best at their position.
Hey, when you get your report card, an A and an A+, same thing.
That's not. That's not.
And
because a D- and an F, that's a position you pass, one you fail.
When you get to an A, this is somebody who had a 3.7 GPA.
That's fine.
It's the same.
But if you get all A+, then
all A's and all A+ are both 4.0.
Okay, cool.
A-
they have 2 A+ on their team.
I see A. It's the same thing.
Okay, cool. They got 2 A's.
Shut up.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, like I said, they've got 2
who
A's
on the Chargers is an A?
and a bunch of C. I was not done.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The rest are C's, D's, and F's.
Yep.
Whereas the Chargers at least have C plus B's more consistently. If you give them a grade, the grade for the Chargers is going to be higher. You're basing it off 2 people.
Yeah.
Or the rest of the receivers for the Chargers are at best a number 2. They just have a bunch of number 2s.
Okay, so
if you have a legitimate number 1, though, that's really all you need is legitimate number 2s.
So,
but they don't have a legit number 1 receiver with the Chiefs.
Okay, then. So
okay, I
even with
we're
that,
talking about the Chargers still. My bad.
That's what he said. The Chargers. I think he got confused. I think he meant the Chiefs.
Yeah, my
the Chiefs
bad.
has a bunch of number 2s. So what I'm saying is, even with that, so that even proves that with the Chiefs being just Kelsey, Mahomes, and a bunch of number 2s versus the Chargers, who has what y'all saying better talent. Why don't they offense play better? So
that was my question. That was my whole point.
Yeah, that was exactly what he's getting to. It's coming into the season.
So how are they better? I don't think they better. I don't think they were better. I think the Chiefs, as long as you got Mahomes and Kelsey, I think they will always be better.
We're only saying on paper. They were better coming into the season on paper. Nobody said
I think defensively on paper they were better. I don't think offensively.
No, offensively they
offense and defense. The Chargers
are better. And I guarantee you that the Chargers have higher overall
because of their defense.
I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to look at defense. I'm talking about look at just the offensive players, receiver for receiver, across the board. I guarantee the Chargers are going to have higher scores. That's going into the season information.
We have to take a look at that. I don't know if I agree.
Oh no, I just don't.
Hold on, Jerry. So you're telling me going into this season, and you said you picked the Chargers to win the division, right?
Yeah.
What made you pick them to win the division?
I don't know. I feel like they have different pieces. I feel like
better pieces.
Time. I mean, I feel like the Chiefs have won it the past few years. It's time for something different. It wouldn't have shocked me if the Chargers would have won the division. It wouldn't have shocked me at all. But Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like we talked about that yesterday too. Yeah. He's a beast. He's elite. There's nothing he can't do. There's not a throw he can't make.
Mahomes.
If they were rated higher, it wouldn't shock me.
So that's the only reason why I said what I say, like with Mahomes and Kelsey, because those two are they're different. And with them two, you can have B receivers. They're still going to perform better than the A's. I'm just saying, even if you want to say C's, they're still going to outperform offensively as a team. They're going to outperform the Chargers with 2 number 1s if you want to consider Mike Williams and number 1s.
Let's not sleep on the defensive upgrades that the Chargers made as well. That's another reason what gave me.
Right.
Bringing in Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson at corner. You know, I figured
So
that
that's
would
why
make
I
a
said
big.
defensively, yeah. So if you're looking at a complete team, yes, the Chargers have more talent than the Chiefs. They have better talent than the Chiefs. But if we're just talking about offensively, I don't think their offense is better than the Chiefs' offense. Even with y'all saying that they got B pluses and it outweighs the A's and the C's, I just don't believe that because Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey are so much better. They account for so much more and they do so much more, in my opinion.
And they also have more experience together too. I mean, I think people overlook, chemistry. That's
Yeah.
something huge. Like they have more chemistry. They've been working together a little longer, so I give you that. I mean, you know,
That's just, I mean, what I think anyway.
yeah, that can
So,
roll. Sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna say this. Hey, well, I was about to
you here to
get
talk.
him. I would say this though, kind of as far as my disappointment, because I'm curious to hear what y'all think about this. My disappointment is actually Kyler Murray. I thought that this was a year in which they should have be performing way better than what they are. Because my thing is this: I'm not even talking about defensively. I'm talking about offensively. They're still struggling to score. Like they're still not even putting up points. He wanted his money. He got his money, but he's still not performing. He doesn't want to run. I think only into the last 2 games he really didn't want to run. But he's also not producing through the air. So for me, my biggest disappointment so far is Kyler Murray because I've been expecting a lot more from here this year.
Argue with that.
Yeah, you get that money, and then they keep bringing in pieces around him too.
Yeah,
you already had Hopkins, which that's
I know he missed the first 6 games, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's still top 10. We're talking about even before this year. Like you still had that's still top 10, and then I mean AJ Green, he was okay. I mean he's on the back end of his career, but that's still complimentary. And then to get Hollywood, then to get Hollywood Brown, Brown,
yeah,
like another speed demon, and then you get Hurts, a veteran tight end. Your offensive line ain't the best, but shoot, with the way you play, shouldn't matter. When you got all these weapons, somebody should be open. You got a very decent running game that you had anyway.
Your head coach offense as well.
Yep.
Like it really doesn't make sense to me anyway. But yeah, I can agree with Kyler Murray definitely being a huge disappointment too. So
makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I did not have any expectations for Kyler.
For real?
My team's in the NFC West, so I've seen him start well, and him and the team teeter off for the last 3 years, going to the end of the year. So, like to me, he's never put together a full season, and any time that Hopkins hasn't been there, he hasn't played well. Like he does have those other receivers who, they're fast, but they don't get open. Hopkins is the only one who can get open. Hurts, he's a little old now to be able to get open. So, he is very, very dependent on Hopkins, and I knew, especially when I knew that he was going to be out for 6 games. So they're out of the division already because they're not going to be able to move the ball. And it shows. And then when Hopkins came back, they started to look a lot better on offense.
True.
Yeah. True. Because Hopkins, you got to put 2 people on him. I don't care what the situation is. You got to put 2 people on him every play.
Is James Conner that important to their team? Because I know he's been out too, and they I know last year he scored a lot of touchdowns. Is he that important to that team?
He led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. Or no, he was second. He was second behind Taylor.
I would say I don't think so, though. All of his 90% of his touchdowns were 1 yard.
Yeah.
He got a lot of we're already here. Let me fall into the end zone touchdowns.
Is he that important, though? Like, is he important to that offense? No? Okay.
I don't think the running game has been good. Even then, when he was getting a bunch of touchdowns, they didn't have a good running game.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it's something to respect. And in that red zone nowadays, it's so hard to score. You got it's hard for the Colts to score in the red zone. I'll say it. I'm sorry, I watch a lot of Colts games.
I watch a lot of Bengals games. It's tough.
It's tough to score in the red zone because especially when you got these high-powered offenses where you're used to throwing it up the chase and him scoring, and now you got this condensed area and field is like it's tough.
Then your
Niners don't have that problem. Y'all have a
Ravens tight end and running game. Field goals. That's the games that we lost was because we got to the red zone.
Yeah. Same with the Ravens. They can't score in the red zone.
But I think like that's this year, like that's been like a lot of the elite teams struggles. Like they're, especially if you got a strong running game, like Baltimore, like San Francisco, like the Colts. Like we depend on our running game in those times, and it's like people are just, man, they just anchoring down on us, and we just can't get it in the red zone, man. Like it sucks. So yeah, nah, man. I think that's those are all good topics, man. I don't know about Aaron Rodgers, man. I don't know if I can agree with Aaron Rodgers.
Man,
Hey, when Aaron Rodgers is under 500, that's a disappointment.
Correct. 3-5. Look, they got the same record as the Bears. I don't want to hear it.
That's a disappointment.
Yeah.
Did we get to surprises?
No, we did not get to surprises. We just been talking all disappointment. So I guess it's time to flip it. Let's flip it. What's your surprise? Let's start with you, Jared, man. What's your biggest surprise this year?
Biggest surprise this season, I'm gonna go Philadelphia Eagles. I know they got pieces. I didn't have all the faith in the world in Jalen Hurts. Granted, I think their schedule is a little bit on the downside. So I mean, I don't see them blowing the doors off the toppest teams in the league. But they're 7-0. That's something that I don't think any of us predicted going in. And again, like we talked about yesterday, I'm all for my brothers, playing quarterback and doing it at the highest level. I'm all for it. So all respect to Jalen Hurts and what they're doing. But yeah, I definitely didn't see 7-0. And if you look at their schedule, I think the toughest team they have remaining is the Packers, maybe. Or maybe the Cowboys. They got a good chance at having.
Yeah, their division are their toughest games left. So, because
then you see what I'm talking about. Then, so they got a good chance at I won't say running the table. That's a little too soon for that. But 14-3, 15-2 is an absolute possibility with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Didn't expect that.
You can only play the teams on your schedule.
That's true.
That's all I'm gonna say.
As an Ohio State fan, I totally agree with that because our schedule's been on the bottom end as well. So I totally respect that.
Yeah, but y'all can pick some of y'all schedule. That's a different subject though.
So with that,
we'll say that. We'll come back to that.
That's a different conversation.
Maybe not this episode. We'll come back to that.
We get back to it.
So with that, Justin, then what's your biggest surprise then?
Well, can I first say this though, Coach? Let me say this real quick. Look, hold on, real quick. I just want it on record. I got proof of this. I picked the Eagles to win their division, and I actually picked them as my favorite to come out of the NFC before the season started.
Wow, yeah, I got to see that.
Yeah.
I wish we had some proof.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna ask a couple of the dudes that we had this conversation in training camp. And I'm gonna have them come through and make sure y'all understand.
So you had going to the Super Bowl this year.
Hey, Ola.
Yeah. Yep. They were my pick.
I ain't gonna trust nobody bringing on here. He paid them. Nope. Nope.
All right. So we got two people on the Eagles train. I know you got a different one.
No. That's not my surprise. That was just a comment.
Comment. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What about you?
Now I will say this, and I'm waiting to hear one of y'all because I know y'all gonna have something crazy to say.
Let's hear
it. My biggest surprise, and I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah. All right. My biggest surprise, I'm gonna be real, how well Tua has played this year. I was not expecting Tua to do what he's been doing. Cool. They are 5-0 when he plays, and he's looked really good.
When he starts and when he finishes.
When he starts and when he finishes. Yeah.
When he's not
when he's not concussed. Yeah. So I'll be honest. That's my how well he's played is my biggest surprise.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay, that is a good one. What about you, Ike?
Well, he has two really elite receivers.
Yeah.
That are just open all the time.
But I mean, he's making the passes on time and accurately. You know what I mean? Like,
he keeps having to stop to catch these balls.
But even if that, my thing is this. I mean, you can't teach speed. That's what they always say. You can't teach speed. But sometimes you can't overthrow these dudes. Like a Tyreek Hill, you know how hard it is to overthrow a Tyreek Hill or even a Waddle? Like these dudes are like world-class speed on the field. So a lot of them gonna be short because shoot, it's hard to anticipate how
Niggas
tough
are-
these men are
Their
running.
college level open.
Scoring power before this season though, so that's
Yeah,
still too
that's
determined. That was already on him
There's been
before.
passes. There's been passes that Patrick Mahomes and threw to Tyreek Hill where this man had to slow down, and it's just like it's just a different type of speed that you can't really account for. You said what?
I just want to shit on Justin Surprise.
Oh. What's your surprise then, Gangs?
That was it. I went through a couple when I was thinking about this.
Well, share them all. We have time.
The first one I thought about was the Vikings.
They have been quietly good.
Yeah,
They're quietly 6-1, and nobody's talking about them.
Like took me out of the Vikings is that they also have only played two teams who at this point are above 500 and considered good teams, and that's Miami, who had Teddy Bridgewater at the time,
Right.
and they lost to the Eagles actually in week 2.
Yeah,
but the offense has looked really good. Defense has not been giving up a ton of points. I was like, I could go there. This is going to be selfish.
Go ahead and say it because I hope it's what I'm thinking.
It's not even 49er related, actually.
No.
It's fantasy football related. Josh Jacobs has been killing. No idea where that came from. And quietly, except for last week when they couldn't do anything, had been getting me like 150 yards a game, it felt like. So he's actually legit been my biggest surprise, especially for somebody who typically didn't finish a season. I mean, he was injury prone for the last couple of seasons at least. But when you actually get, I mean, you can see what Devontae's doing for him because they can't 100% be down there. He was their only threat, really. Because Waller is like, I play every fourth Thursday. Josh Jacobs, man, he's been a total surprise for me and a great fantasy pickup because I drafted it. That's how good I am.
That's solid.
Yeah.
I'm 6-2 in fantasy as well. So
yeah, that makes two of us. Man, my biggest surprise, I would have to say, would have to be the Giants.
I consider the Giants too.
The Giants, like, you kind of look at that division and you're like, okay, Philly loading up, they got a chance to be good. Got Dallas, a lot of talent, chance to be good. And then you look at Washington, they are what they are. And then you look at the Giants and you're like, okay, they are what they are. Okay, they're shuffling talent around. They got some young guys, a brand new coach. Like, it's always the same thing with the Giants. You know what I mean? They shuffling around pieces. They bring in a coach, a GM, whatever. They do the same thing that bad teams do every year, and you kind of got used to it. And then it's like, you look around, you're like, Giants are 5-2. Like, what is going on in the NFC East? Last year they was the NFC least.
You know what? Maybe to me, there's just so many mediocre teams in the NFL that because looking at their schedule, Tennessee, okay, Carolina, Dallas without Dak, although they played good without Dak, but Dallas without Dak and Bears.
Did they win that game?
I think no, they lost. They lost to
them.
They lost to Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just running off the schedule. I was just
okay.
That was for me.
They lost to Dallas, but that wasn't even that shouldn't have been a tough game. You got the Bears, Green Bay. They did beat the Ravens, and then Jacksonville.
Yeah,
they
lost to say that. We knew that.
Are we really on that bandwagon just yet with the Giants?
I'm not saying I'm on the bandwagon. It's just a surprise that they've started off so well. I mean, granted,
that was kind of my thing.
Almost halfway through the season, but
that was kind of my same deal with the Eagles. It's like, you started off, you're killing, you're doing well, but I mean, we haven't seen that victory that lets me know. I haven't seen that victory. I'm gonna just speak for myself. That lets me know, okay, they're serious, and they're gonna be a contender for the Super Bowl. I haven't seen that win out of the Giants, nor have I seen it from the Eagles.
And see, I think, and with all the surprises, really, like, they haven't dominated one of the elite teams that we would consider elite. The Kansas Cities, I don't even want to say Tampa Bay, but they just whenever you got Brady back there, you got to
That's
kind
just
of
a
consider
matter of
them.
all the big dogs
Right.
being in the NFC.
Yeah, like they
I
just
mean, the
haven't.
AFC.
Yeah, exactly. Like they just haven't beat one of those teams of Buffalo. You know what I mean? They haven't played one of them teams where it's like, oh shoot, like.
Yeah, I would love to see Philly go to Arrowhead and see,
Mm-hmm.
how that would turn out. Not saying that they would absolutely lose, but I would like to see it. If they would
Yeah.
go out there and dominate the Chiefs, all right, okay, yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
buying some of it. For now, I'm still selling.
that's fine. I mean, I
Okay.
don't. There's not much else I think that they have to prove to you or anybody, considering their offensive line has been dominant and their defensive line has been dominant.
And they
So at
can
the end of the day,
run
we
the
do
ball.
we all know if you are dominant in those two areas, you got a very very good chance of winning. And they've been
Yeah.
dominant on both
So,
sides.
They can run.
have they made any changes to the offensive defensive line from last year?
Yeah,
Or
I
is it
mean
the same guy?
They added Jordan Davis,
Okay,
big boy from Bama on that D
right,
line. I
right,
know
right,
he
right.
helped
Okay,
out. Don't I mean I'm curious to see, but Robert Quinn coming now, that's gonna be
right.
another
That's
huge
serious.
pickup for
But
them.
also, my point to that point, which was
Mm.
a great point, very, very, very great point. My thing is, okay, your offensive line and your defensive line are dominating against who?
It don't matter. You're
Who you
dominating the
dominating?
games that you're set to play.
But how can you use that for a scale against teams that might be better than them? Is
Okay,
what I'm
let
saying.
me ask. Okay, so then my question to you would be this, and this is anybody if you got one. Name in the NFC, just in the NFC. Give me a team that has a dominating defensive line. I mean, just a
I would
dominating
say
defensive line.
I would say the Cowboys, and they did beat the Cowboys, right?
They
Yes, they
lost to
did.
the Cowboys.
No, they
No,
haven't lost.
the Eagles beat
No, they're undefeated.
the Eagles ain't lost to nobody.
Oh, we're talking the Eagles. Oh, my bad. I thought we was talking about the Giants still. My bad.
Yeah, they lost to a Cowboys team without Dak. They sure did. No,
Yeah,
they beat a
they
Cowboys
beat them.
team without Dak. They sure did.
Mm-hmm.
You keep
Absolutely.
saying it like Dak has done anything. Like, so stop bringing up Dak like we talking about Mahomes. Dak is Dak. Like Cooper Rush, let's be real. Cooper Rush was balling for them. So like he had a little Fitz
I don't know that
magic
was
in
a
him
baller.
for them couple weeks.
I don't know that was a baller. But he did manage the game.
He
very
won
well.
games.
Yeah, he won the game. Balling is a different story, but he did win the game.
I mean,
And he did have some
I had to
comeback
pull.
wins, so like he legit won games. But I mean, he
Yeah.
was doing like 212 yards a game.
I mean, but Dak was throwing for 400 and losing. So which one would you rather have?
Well, I don't like
That's
Dallas.
true.
I don't care.
I know you don't like Dallas, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, he did what it took to win. I'll put it that way.
No, yeah, I mean, 'cause the thing about Dak is, he'll get you 400 or 500 yards, but you'll be down by 30 by the half. So that's why he's going to get those yards. And
Yep.
then, when he does get you back in the game, he is going to throw that timely completion. I mean, he's done those interceptions, but he somehow throws the ball in the dirt at the wrong time.
Oh yeah, I'm shocked though. I am shocked by you. I could have sworn that somebody was gonna say, "Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm seeing your face when I say this." You did not mention your Falcons winning the division right now.
I'm not a Falcons fan. That's why.
I know you're not, but I'm just saying I'm shocked. No one's brought up the Falcons or the Seahawks being #1 in their division right now.
Well, my thing is with
Nobody expects that to stay.
The Falcons
that's
division
not-
is terrible.
It's
That's exactly
terrible.
what
Everybody's
I'm
3-5. So
But
that's
no,
not you
no,
can't.
The Falcons are 4-4. Let's
Oh, jeez.
yeah. And
Division is terrible.
division's terrible. It's terrible. But they got the GOAT, right? In that division, right?
Hey.
Oh, Joe Montana?
Man, what is it with you and great athletes? I feel like you just don't like great athletes, man. But it's okay. I'm understanding, like we all have our internal ways of diagnosing these players. Like we all have our individual way of how we recognize who's great, who's doing what. So, and I'm learning yours, but it's a little critical. It's a little.
Oh, Denver has the highest bar for greatness.
Because your way of determining who you think's the best, that's your way of determining it. There's nothing wrong with it.
The
But-
Kendrick Lamar control verse bar.
Mm.
It's
Hey,
all the way up there.
I'm learning it. It's totally fine. But yeah, yeah.
To me, because here's
The hate is real.
Well, no, it's not no hate
I'm
though.
not
Here's
gonna
the
say
thing.
that. I'm stay away from that. But
Yeah, it's not that I hate on anybody. It really ain't. It's just for me, I think honestly, as totally in terms of I don't know if you want to say societal fans, whatever you. I think we have started to blur the line between great and really good. There has to be more of a distinction between who is great, who are just like really good players. There is a difference,
Okay, then
Right.
and I
elaborate.
just try.
Elaborate on that. I think that's a great question. I think
Yeah,
that's a great
you get this
topic to
standard.
to talk to talk to
We
talk
should
about
have
to
we
dive
should have
into.
a Justin's top five. We should have that segment every show, and then we just pick a random category and
And
just
then
And
let
just
him
go
run
have
to
him
off
it.
his
pick his
top
yeah
five.
and why.
So yeah, so we can see that. I think that would man that would be great. I think that we should do that. But
Look,
go ahead.
we can make that happen. We can make that happen. But yeah, like I just think that, like, for example, people have before the season, they said Herbert was great. I've heard people anointing Justin Herbert as being great, being that guy. Well, he's not great. Patrick Mahomes is great. Herbert's not great. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, like, Herbert's really good though. He's really good. He's just not great.
So
Because
so
I'll say it
I
this way.
do
I think
that.
if you switch both of them on their teams, I think the Chargers are winning that division, and I don't think the Chiefs have the record they do.
okay, then
With Travis Kelsey, you think with Herbert and Travis Kelsey wouldn't be
I
as
do not.
dynamic as?
Nope, I don't.
I actually
oh,
don't disagree with that at all. As much as I
I,
want to.
I sure wish we could flip flop some
Oh my
things,
God, I
but
want to disagree
I don't
so
know
bad.
about that. I don't know.
yeah, I think like I said, like I was saying earlier, the Mahomes factor is so real. It's just it's different. The way he plays is just I don't think we've seen somebody that just has that complete skill set. And it really don't matter who you have out there running routes for the most part. We can see that. It's kind of like, hey, look, if you get halfway open, this man is getting you the ball one way or another. So
Man,
I don't
Travis
know, like
Kelsey is open every play. My God,
and that just and
He
that
can
just
make
alludes to like his greatness, like him and Kittle's, like them dudes, their ability to get open regardless, and they're getting doubled, and like they're one of the main focuses on the offense on both
let's
teams.
also not sleep on Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy as well.
I
'Cause
literally
they
was going to
probably
say,
No,
yep,
oh
yep.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was going to say
can
that.
scheme up some stuff on
Yep,
offense side of the ball. So
yep.
let's not sleep on that as well.
especially with
But if
speed.
you don't have a guy who can, with the arm talent to make every single throw, and to you know what I mean, and to see the field the way that Mahomes sees it, like it don't matter what you scheme up. You got to have somebody who can deliver. Like
Right.
it's a lot of offensive minds out there, like like McVay in LA. Like yeah, he can scheme up whatever he wants, but with Jared Goff, he can't do what what Chicago can do. So it's like once you yeah,
Stafford
what
ain't nothing to
Stafford can
write
do.
home about. So
Man.
But if that's what you say, but literally, you say take one person and switch the teams, and you get a different outcome. That's an example of it.
They did add Odell. They did add Von Miller on the defense.
Okay, later, and Odell can't stay on the field.
Jared Goff did go to a Super Bowl. Remember, they lost that very, very, very weak Super Bowl to the Patriots.
Man, I hated this. That was the
Yeah,
one
that
I
But
took a visit. But I decided to never really
but
say
then after that, it's like you really seen like okay, when you got somebody new, it's kind of like that surprise factor. Like okay, you go in preparing for one quarterback, but then they scratch him at the end of the day, and then they put in somebody else. And you're like, all right, they didn't prepare to play him, and they may sneak out and win. I think that's what Jared Goff was. That was his second year, I believe. It's like okay, we don't even really know what this dude is. You know what I mean? And then McVay was like a new coach, like breaking into his own. It's like, all right, we don't really know how to even prepare for him because most coaches who've been around for a while, they have their tendencies. You know, you kind of know what they're gonna do offensively and defensively. But
Right.
like McVay was like a breath of fresh air there, and I just think it was just they just kind of went on a run and caught people at the right time, and they just didn't know how to prepare for them. But once that next year, like from then on, you seen what happened. It was just like, yes, he's such a genius offensive mind, and oh man, he just so this and that. But they couldn't do nothing because they were limited at that position, and they knew that. And once they changed that position, it was different.
I can tell you what, to the 49ers, don't matter who back there. We smacking the Rams every year. I just had to throw that out there.
Hey,
Completely.
speaking of, I got something for you, Isaac. Being that you are San Francisco 49ers resident fan, are you a Trey Lance guy or are you a Garoppolo?
I've seen Garoppolo. I'm a Trey Lance guy. I've seen Garoppolo and what he's going to do. I think he'll get us through the regular season and deep in the playoffs. Yes. Do I think he would win the Super Bowl? No.
But do you think Trey Lance?
So you're fully anticipating Trey Lance coming back and getting that starting job back?
Yeah.
Okay. No opinion on it. I just wanted.
I was not upset that we didn't let him go.
Right.
And knowing that Trey Lance was going to be running often, I'm like, he's probably going to get hurt. So, like, we had one of the best backups that you can have, especially with somebody who had already been there for a couple of years, already knows the offense.
Solid, man. Solid
and
man, so solid. Like, it was luck. It was. I can't say it was nothing but luck.
But like, if our running game ain't working, it's a wrap. He ain't going.
What was luck, Vernon?
Huh?
You said what was luck?
It was just luck that like nobody really made an offer or they didn't cut Jimmy G. You know what I mean? Because like, dude, they would have been in a messed up position. Like, if they'd have traded him away.
But here's the thing: they've had success with a lot of quarterbacks in that system at times.
Yeah.
So, but I'll say this: this actually goes into what we were talking about yesterday. You got the luxury of not having to worry about cutting a quarterback like Jimmy G because you're not overly paying at that position. You got a rookie quarterback making rookie money, and Jimmy G ain't making top dollar as a quarterback. So you got the luxury of having two quarterbacks in your system.
And then they restructured him.
And they restructured it.
Yeah, that was close too.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, they can do it.
If we're really honest, the restructure is really the only reason why he was still there, because if not, they were going to cut him because he was making like $20 million. You're not going to put $20 million on the bench.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'll say this: Jimmy also knew if wasn't nobody coming to trade for him, he wasn't going to go nowhere and get a spot, so he had to restructure.
And
he also could have took his guaranteed money and set out like we talked about last year. He could have took his guaranteed money.
He wasn't going to do that.
But I think also
if we'd have cut him, he wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, he
cut him at a certain point.
I think he was out of guaranteed money. This was the last year's contract. No, he didn't have no more guaranteed money left. That was one
of money if we'd have cut him before whatever that date was.
Yeah,
but I think. Yeah, go ahead.
I think from what I've heard, just from watching Niners games and things of that nature, is that like I really think the team likes Jimmy G. Like they really rally around him. So I think that was another decision that kind of played into like, look, we don't want to I don't think they wanted to get rid of Jimmy G. It was like, but for the price and like you said, having a young guy, and it's like it just didn't make sense. So I think Jimmy G with the team was like, hey, look, I'm willing to restructure to stay here because of that camaraderie and that rapport and stuff he had with his team and how everybody loves him. I think he really loves being there too, because I'm just saying. I just think so.
Offensively speaking, it's a great system. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds that you can be with. So at the end of the day,
hell, his dad was too.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, Jimmy would have been foolish to leave unless he was going somewhere that was gonna, put him in a similar position. Like, I mean, to be honest, like you could see him having success in Miami. Very similar system. You know what I mean? Like there are certain places where I think he could have had similar success. It's just, to me, I don't think enough players make decisions like Jimmy did. You make that decision that's going to make you look good, because Jimmy's putting himself in a position. Let's say they go out and win that Super Bowl, he going to get paid. He going to go get paid. So
if he went, even if I don't think they're going to have to win the Super Bowl. If he wins one playoff game this year,
I don't think that happens. Team seen him win in the playoffs. Yeah,
he won a playoff game and threw 8 passes.
I'm just saying. I'm talking about this year, like because you, as they say, you got to update your resume. Like people know what you've done, but they only remember what you've done recently. Like they're gonna be like, all right, yeah, you did that 2-3 years ago, but last year. So when you going out there and you trying to pitch yourself to a team, like they're gonna look at what you did this most recent year. So I think
that's why he has to go to the Super Bowl. They were in the conference championship last year.
He has to play well though too.
Like,
there's multiple games in the last 2 years where he's completed single-digit number of passes, and we still won the game. Right. So obviously he had nothing to do with that. So he's got to be.
But he didn't turn it over either, though. So
yes, he did.
He had something.
Yes, he did. I watched up. Yeah, he did.
But I think also like knowing when to check out a pass is like just knowing like the IQ of him too, and just knowing the flow of the game, and just knowing like, hey, look, this ain't my game to win. You know what I mean? I think he has that in him too.
Well,
No, I'm just saying. I'm just thinking that's something that he does.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like he won't even have to this year. So like, I don't even think he's gonna be able to prove what you saying, Isaac, because with McCaffrey and then y'all getting Elijah Mitchell back, he's not gonna have to. He's not gonna. He literally is not gonna be forced to.
He's gonna have to hit maybe
throw the ball 30 times in the game. You know what I mean? And then when y'all get Juszczyk back, yeah, like you'll get Juszczyk back. You got Juszczyk, you got Debo, you got Elijah, and you got Christian McCaffrey. And then not even talking about like Kittle or Ayuk. Yeah, like not even talking about both of them. I mean, but just that right there, what Jimmy's not going to be forced to do anything that he's not capable of doing, period.
Yeah.
So.
And I think when you're talking QBs, the only thing that matters is wins and your ability to take care of the ball. So when they're evaluating you, most of the time they're going to be like, hey, look, can you win? Yes. Can you not turn over the ball? Yes.
Or how about this? Not even can you win. Can you not lose the game?
Or not lose, yeah. Or in his case,
yeah.
Even in that case, yeah, definitely. Not lose the game. And I think Jimmy G is one of the best at that. He's not going to dominate the game, but, man, very seldom does he
manage the hell out of it, though.
Yeah,
he is.
Boy, but I think that's part of the brilliance, though, with him, too, is that he knows when to do that. And he's just not like, all right, hey, look. He's not a gunslinger. He's not one of them dudes that just out there just like, forget it. I'm going to try to like do too much. I think he just knows when to hold him and when to fold him.
He does know.
And that's important, man.
It is. It's so important.
Christian McCaffrey has more 30-yard touchdown passes than Jimmy G. So, do what you want with that information.
Hey, can I say something that's might stir y'all up real good?
This is what you do.
Can we say at the end of the day that maybe Denver got fleeced into paying Jimmy Garoppolo $200 and something odd million to come there? That's all Russell Wilson. No, he's Jimmy Garoppolo. His name might be Russell Wilson.
Okay, I see.
He is Jimmy Garoppolo.
So basically, you're asking, did Denver get fleeced in that money?
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
Correct.
Overpaid, absolutely.
100% overpaid. Yeah, you ain't rubbing no feathers. You see, you thought you were gonna start some shit.
I did.
Well, he did. He did. I just haven't said that yet.
Well, look.
I haven't spoke my piece yet. I don't. I just, again, kind of like, and nobody knows about the conversation because we ain't put it out there what we had yesterday. But I just think, like I said, in this league that is QB driven and there's a lot of money to go around, when you get somebody who's, and I have to say proven because he is, like,
more proven than Jimmy?
Yes, because he's won a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Did he win it, though? Did he win it? Because we were just talking about that with Jimmy. But did Russ really win the? I'm asking a question. I'm asking. Look,
are we splitting hairs here?
No.
Wait a minute. Okay then.
We're not gonna act like traditional Russell Wilson is Jimmy Garoppolo. He might be Jimmy Garoppolo this season, but come on, man.
That's not really what Russ is, and we know that. We're not gonna take this
that far. That's
Russ has been more than a game manager.
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay.
Are you watching these games?
And I only say that because he is a gunslinger. Like, he will take shots. He will force the ball.
He'll take off and run.
Jimmy takes shots too. Jimmy runs too.
Not like that.
Jimmy got soul.
I can't let you put them two in the same category.
Nah, that's gravely disrespectful. Like, nah.
I'm not. I can't let you do it.
We can't
do
that.
I don't want to do, but I'm going to do it.
What?
Just because everybody jumped on Justin a second ago.
This man don't even like you.
When they start doing, look, I got to play devil's advocate sometimes.
Okay.
Fuck him. But no.
Nah, we need that though. That's good. Let's see what you got.
When they start doing the whole let Russ cook thing, when he was actually getting yards and stuff like that, they weren't winning like that either. Though. When they were actually winning is when he was more of a game manager and they were running the ball. So I mean,
Russell Wilson has never been a game manager ever.
He's never been a
game manager.
Hold on. I think our
He's
definition.
failing now.
I think our definition.
I'm leaving.
Season, Russ has never been a game manager.
When they had the Legion of Boom, he was not that guy.
Man, you still got to score to win these games, though. You got to score to win these
games.
Yeah,
they did by running the ball.
You really got to score twice, and you can get a ball to Marshawn twice.
I think.
Man.
So I think our definition of game manager.
Lockett ain't been cooking. DK ain't been cooking. Who was serving those meals?
Have they been winning?
At the time.
They've been to 2 Super Bowls, yeah. So I would say so. That's more than a lot of quarterbacks.
And DK wasn't there for none of that. So you mentioned DK and Lockett, but DK wasn't even there for that.
DK was there last year, though.
Yeah, and were they in the Super Bowl
last year?
Yeah, were they in the Super Bowl?
He's talking about in Russell's glory, in the glory Wilson, years.
I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out athletes that have been cooking with Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson. I knew
ain't nobody cooking with Russell Westbrook. Ain't nobody cooking with no Russell Westbrook.
They got
I will mute the whole podcast.
I apologize for bringing up Russell Westbrook, but yeah.
It came out your mouth because the foolishness that you just said is the same foolishness that you saying Russell Westbrook. That's why that happened. That's why that just happened.
Can we put up a poll for our viewers after this?
Oh, please do.
Absolutely.
Please
do. Can we do a yes, no on game manager for Russell Wilson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then we can talk about the results in the next episode to start it off.
Absolute blasphemy. I'm not rolling with that at all. Nah.
When they were going to the Super Bowl and NFC Championship games, he was not that guy.
I can't.
That might be a division bias speaking a little bit again, because that's not factual at all.
Like I said it.
Hold on. I know he wasn't that guy. I know we lost because of the defense every time. We lost because of the Legion of Boom.
That's crazy. But all right. I can't wait to hear that Justin top 5. Man. We need that. The world needs it.
Kaepernick decided.
Maybe we'll do a top 5 and a bottom 5 and see what's really going on. We'll do a top 5 and a bottom 5 and see what's going on. But set that up, Vernon. Let's do a poll and let's see what it says.
I'll put a poll. I'll put a poll in the group and see what people think. But I think the argument right now is I think we're kind of like arguing the wrong thing. I think our definitions of game managers are different. Because when you have an elite defense, which I think I would like to say Seattle had for a stretch. It was a 5-year stretch of elite defense from them. And you have one of the top running backs in the league, which is Marshawn Lynch. I don't know how you just... He had to make plays. There were games where Russell had to make plays, and he did. And I don't think that's a game manager. I don't think that's not what game managers do. Game managers dink and dunk.
So Jimmy Garoppolo don't
they dink and dunk. No.
What are we defining as plays though? Because I think you're taking it literally as
I think it is right. I think it is like right. I think it's game changing plays. So games that dictate the outcome, crucial third downs. Even if it's even if Russell is running for the third down, I just think in crucial moments he made a lot of crucial throws and plays throughout that time.
I've never watched the Seahawks game where I'm just like, man, the only chance the Seahawks has to win this game is they keep the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands. Never.
Because I need him to hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
But
that's still taking the ball out of his hands. I don't think that was totally what they were focused on.
I've never been able to say that about a Seahawks game. While
I can because I said at one point, Pete Carroll just go play quarterback. All I need you to do is hand it to beast mode. I said it.
But that wasn't. That was never their offense.
Do they win the Super Bowl if Pete Carroll hands the ball off to beast mode twice?
They win the Super Bowl without Russell Wilson? Hell no.
They're not there without Russell Wilson.
Even close.
Russell Wilson's the reason they got to the Super Bowl.
I'm saying offensively.
Yes, he's a great quarterback.
You gonna make me throw this computer? I'm gonna throw this computer.
I ain't got no money investment in it, no financial investment.
That's why I ain't gonna throw it. That's why I'm not gonna throw it.
That's wild, man.
I just think if we take if we go back and look, if we look at the numbers and we really look at some film and some tape on these games that like. I just can't say that he was just all right. We're gonna run it twice, and now I'm gonna throw on third down if we need be. Like to me, that's a game manager.
Yeah, that's never been.
And I don't think that's what it was, bro. There's no reason why he was mentioned as a. There's no reason why he was ever mentioned as a top 5 quarterback during that time, and he's a game manager. Garoppolo is never in that conversation.
Russell Wilson threw 40 touchdowns in 2020. 40. What is not a game manager? 40. 4-0.
I say it specifically when he was letting us cook. That was a different thing. They also weren't winning, like going even to the playoffs.
Okay, so how many did he? Okay, so how many did he throw from 2015 to 2020?
I can run it off.
Or 2018 or 2019. Let's just take 2020 out of it.
You mean
all right? So 2015
right?
He threw 34.
Or 2012. My fault. Well, we ain't gotta go this whole time. We think of rookie year and stuff like that.
No. I can run it down.
When they went to
the Super Bowl.
Okay, go ahead.
So 2012, 26 touchdowns. 2013, 26 touchdowns. 2014, 20. 2015, 34. 2016, 21. 2017, 34. 2018, 35. 2019, 31. 2020, 40. 2021, 25.
And then we also got to look at where he didn't play the whole season either.
We run those numbers up against Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sorry, fellas.
Garoppolo ain't never had a 30 touchdown year.
He played every game except for he missed 2 games in 2021. I believe that was a thumb or wrist injury. I could be wrong on that. So but yeah, he's played every game.
Garoppolo, he ain't never had a 30 touchdown year.
I'm not comparing him to Garoppolo. I'm just saying.
We've been discussing
that's exactly what we're comparing him to. That's exactly what y'all said. That's how we got to start talking about Russell Wilson is because y'all brought up him being similar to Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's
I said in terms of being a game manager.
And I'm just saying
we're saying that he's nowhere near game managing at all. 40 touchdowns isn't managing anything.
But that was you're looking at years after the Legion of Boom, after they even were in Super Bowl contention.
So they don't count?
20.
No, because we were comparing him when he had Marshawn and the Legion of Boom, not his whole career. Because when they got rid of them, so he could do more.
So that's the reason. That's the reason they did that. They got rid of him just so they could showcase Russell Wilson. Is basically what you're saying.
You tell me.
Sports don't work like that, man. Sports don't. Nobody's gonna sacrifice wins to promote.
So why you think?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Marshawn, because sports does work like that.
Hold on. One second.
That's that conspiracy stuff. They don't work like that.
Wait a minute, Jared. I actually have evidence to support this because I watched Richard Sherman's podcast with him and Marshawn Lynch talking.
Okay.
And they both were saying the same thing about Russell Wilson.
What was it?
Is that they was like they're glad to see Seattle doing what they're doing this year, playing together as a team, as they was before Russell was cooking. And they said that because he was like, nobody cares who gets the credit right now, so everybody's playing together. And Lockett said the same thing. He was quoted after they won. I forgot what game they won. I think maybe Denver.
Yep.
He was quoted saying that, hey, look, it's funny how good we can be when nobody cares about who gets the credit. So I do think at some point, Russell was in the I would say front office from the head coach up. He was in their ears about what he wanted to be because he was coming so close to winning MVP and things of that nature.
He was trying to get them prayers off, bro.
But when everybody in the public is calling you elite, and you're not even getting one MVP vote, and you're throwing 40 touchdowns in multiple years, I'm just saying, like it's just.
I never said he was elite.
I'm just saying, like the sports world was mentioning him in that facet.
What is that? Is that his fault?
No, but I'm just saying though. They're saying his teammates, people he done played with, is saying that, hey, look, the culture started to change as Russell started to play better. The culture in Seattle started to change, and it wasn't really about them playing as a team. It was about what Russell wanted.
So if I up my game, that's a knock on me.
But it
But it depends on how you are you upping your game and lifting the team with you, or are you just upping your game? Because
I
we can
wasn't there, so
see.
I really can't really speak to that.
No, I'm just saying,
So
just look
I
at like
mean,
the comparisons of what they do with like, and this is not to change the subject or to go into something else,
mm,
but when you
mm.
look at a LeBron and a KD, how they talk about them, they talk about the biggest difference with them is that hey, LeBron makes everybody around him better. He can instantly go to a team and lift the team, not only with his play, but other people's play better with him. Where KD plays better, or he has a great game by
oh
himself,
man,
but he doesn't really make everybody around him better.
oh
So that's all
man,
I'm saying. Not to go off on the NBA
Ooh-wee.
tangent. I'm just saying that's
My
just
guy
how
took a nap.
they.
Like
I'm just saying
ah,
that's. I'm just saying it's just a difference when you raise your level of play, but are you bringing the team with you? And I just think in Seattle, from what I've
as
heard from
grown
actual
men,
players, Russell wasn't doing that.
as grown men, because like check this out. Perfect example. Four guys on a podcast. All right, and we're gonna get better. Because I don't feel like I definitely haven't reached my peak of what I can offer to a podcast. We're all gonna
Right.
get better. So
Mm-hmm.
if Justin gets better, which I expect all of us to get better, not saying that we're not already where we need to be, but everybody's gonna get better. As
Mm-hmm.
Justin gets better, I can't say, well, the reason why the podcast is kind of sidelining is because Justin getting better. That's on us as men to get better and elevate with him. That's not his fault that nobody else came
Right.
along for.
But
But
the
like,
difference is, I'm not a game manager. I'm elite. Russ is a game manager.
Oh man,
hey,
that was a good one.
he
That was a good one.
he reeled you in on
You
that
got a lot
one.
of callbacks in the business.
That was a good one.
Uh,
That was a good one. I give it to you. I give it to you. But that's still we gonna see what this poll say, and you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it's a
very
good
curious
point.
to
I
see what
think
the
this
poll
is
says.
great. This is a great thing to like to end on, like, cause I want to put this poll out here. I really want to see what people think about it, like, cause do you think Russell Wilson is a game manager? Like, should that be the poll, or do you think Jimmy, like Russell Wilson is Jimmy
No, no. The
Garoppolo?
question is
you can
Has Russell Wilson for
dang,
majority of his career being a game manager? That's the question.
Majority of his career.
Yep.
yeah,
That's how
I'm
you want
rolling.
it worded.
I mean,
I don't know if you want
because
to word
I
it
don't
that
know
way.
if you can.
Put in
It's really the
parentheses Jimmy
year.
Garoppolo, since that's where the conversation started. Let's put in parentheses Jimmy Garoppolo so people will have an idea of what
A
we define
comparison.
as manager. Because I think we can all agree that Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager, right?
Mhm.
Wait a minute.
So
Let's look at. Oh wait a minute.
put Jimmy
Ike,
Garoppolo
is
in
Jimmy Garoppolo a game manager to you?
100%. Without a
absolutely.
Okay.
doubt.
Okay. All right. All right. If he says it, I got to go with that because he's a San Francisco guy. So I'm not gonna go against his team.
Let's run it like that.
Whenever
Okay.
you can throw complete 8 passes and you win, and you're okay with that. Hey,
Okay.
look, man, complete a pass.
You know what? What
when
I can do
need
to
it,
reach more people,
that's it.
I can share the poll from our group, and I can make a poll on like my social media and screenshot the results, so we can run it that
Let's
way
just
too.
make sure that you don't have any influence like the
Well, how
elections
about
in this
this?
country.
How about we?
Nah,
Because we want to bring people. We want to bring people to this. So how
right.
about I make the poll in the group, and then y'all could just share it on y'all individual social media,
I'll definitely do that.
and
I'll do
people
that.
can comment, and that's going to make people comment. We can get a total totality together in one spot. So
Let's do
then,
it.
and we can bring the results. I'll put the results on here, and we'll start off next week with this. This will be the topic starting off next week. So I'm letting y'all know. Be prepared. This
Oh yeah,
may not be
I'm ready.
where we end, but that's exactly where we start.
All right.
I definitely need
I'm
to
rolling.
know because
I'm rolling.
Justin, you wilding right now, bro. You putting him
Yeah.
in the same breath as
And
Russell
then my
Wilson.
guy
I
took a
just
nap
I
when he
can't
was
do
talking
it.
about LeBron. I'm like, oh man,
Well, I had to give an example that people can relate to.
my man took a nap. He was asleep on that whole segment.
I ain't worried about Justin, man.
He was asleep on all of
I
it.
ain't worried about him. He started this. Just remember who started this.
Yeah,
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Okay,
That's
good.
I like that one too.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good to
man.
know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
All right, y'all, man. Well, we coming up on an hour and 10 minutes. I think this was a great first episode. I appreciate all of y'all doing this, coming together and really putting this together, man. So as I said, we're gonna get better.
Everybody getting better.
Everybody getting
Nope.
better. This will be available for people who's listening and not watching, and this will be available. We do stream live on Facebook in our group, so if you want to be a part of the group, reach out to any one of us on our social media handles and on YouTube. Our YouTube channel will be posted in the link in the comments below. So thank y'all. This has been Oh, everybody got anything? Any remarks? I'm sorry.
Yep, one thing. Just one thing.
One thing. Oh.
No, just one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody, especially, you know, my co-host here, I just want to say one thing to the E.P.I.C community.
Okay.
Let's ride.
Funhouse active, king of the palace, rubber like Malcolm, balled up fist in the air to the fast lit, yeah, hands up in the air till they gun me down. I keep it 100, they crunching the numbers, I'm getting wild. Young nigga got a fetish for success. If I ain't next, and I just leave him pressure. Next to rain on the window pane, puffy plain Jane. Let them second guess me.